Secondly, if you pay attention to the things he chose, the woman and the food. Now, those two things represent companionship and, sustenance. Now, if you think about it more on a deeper level, the man choosing the carnal nature, or the only desire when a man chooses a woman, the real reason why men get married or get into companionship is for these two things: for sexual intimacy with the woman and for the provision of food by the woman. But if you turn that around, you can understand that when the man turns his attention towards the higher self, okay, the intimacy in prayer replaces the sexual intimacy, and the study of the word of God replaces the sustenance, which is the food. So you are either submitting to the higher self, to God, or to the pleasures of the carnal nature, the animal desires, the animal appetites. The problem with the decision Adam made was he was hoping to receive love from the woman. But love flows downward. Man does not have the capacity to love God. It is God that loves man. So also the woman does not have the capacity to love man. It is man that was commanded in the Bible. Read from Genesis to Revelation. God never commanded the woman to love the man. God commanded the woman to respect the man. It is the man that loves, because love flows downward. It is God that loves man and man loves woman. But when in the wrong direction, okay, what we will receive is lust. Remember, the woman symbolically represents the flesh, the lower self, cannot be satisfied, and man cannot satisfy that lust. That is why a man cannot satisfy a woman, because the demands are endless. Okay, so because of that, that's why we see the world the way it is. Men fighting men, killing men, and taking all the benefits, all the profits to lay at the feet of the woman. You see this in society. A man becomes president, becomes governor, and then it is a little girl that he turns all the money he stole from the nation and gives her. So you see this, you see a married man, he will leave his entire family and take his wealth and give to a little girl, because man, Adam, turned the woman to his God. This is also connected to the three temptations the enemy brought against the Lord in the wilderness, which is food, turning stone into bread. You have power, which is influence. You will be like God, which was the temptation given to Eve. And then material things. I'll give you everything that you see, and this represents the three lusts: the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Like I said, there are two things that Adam wanted from Eve, which was intimacy and the food. Okay, and so everything I've discussed can be put into three boxes. The first is the apple, which represents the food, the sustenance, okay, personal need. So the sin around this could be, gluttony, alcohol addiction. You could see drug addiction. That's why you're seeing they are pushing these things through music, through movies, to get people addicted to drugs. All these things is to bring you into a state of bondage. Then they bring Eve, which represents intimacy, okay? And this is the sins around sexual pleasures like pornography, masturbation, fornication, adultery, the LGBTQ. All this is to get you hooked, hoping that you will fall for one of these. And all these are connected to Adam. There we have the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. This was the temptation of Eve, the material possessions, the validations, the accolades, the attention. That is why you're seeing people can get naked on social media just for validation. It is the void they are trying to feel some form of value. Okay, people get so much just to feel some form of value. That is why you still have billionaires, movie stars committing suicide, because at the end of the day, that void can only be filled by God. So the lust of the eyes, this is where jealousy comes in, this is where envy comes in, this is where covetousness comes in. Remember, you cannot serve two masters. You're either servant of God or servant of mammon. That is why majority of the people will not listen to you if you do not talk about money or women. The lust of the flesh mainly came from Adam, which was the carnal animal nature. That is why if you look through scriptures, all the great men that fell, you can see Samson, Solomon, Adam, the repetition in scriptures, and even in Proverbs, the warning is to the men basically. However, the lust of the eyes and the pride of life came from Eve. The lust of the eyes and the pride of life was the fall of Eve. She wanted power, that is still the case till this very day. Okay, that is why amongst the judgments God gave, he told Eve that her desire would be for the husband, but he will rule over her, pointing to her desire or the lust she had, which was power. And we can see this play out in the society with the whole feminist movement, women seeking to be above in the marriages, in relationship. It is proof of what took place in the garden. So because of that weakness in Adam, which is the intimacy, the sexual desire, it is now being used by the woman to gain control over the man or to manipulate the man. Now, this is a very long topic, so I'll have to do continuation to explain in more details understanding of self, because this also played out in Cain and Abel. It is the same dual thing. It is the same thing that finds expression. So this is not about gender. Adam here represents every man and woman. There's the higher self in you, there's the lower self in you, but this is just symbolism. So what is the message here? When Adam, who was the king over creation, when he sinned and disobeyed God by obeying the flesh, the lower self, that created a weak version of Adam, which can be said to be the Ahab version of fool. And when Eve disobeyed and rebelled by seeking for power through the serpent, that also created a different version of her. So in every man there is a king and a fool, and in every woman there is also a queen, Esther, and there's a Jezebel, rebellion or obedience, wisdom or foolishness.